You think about how much money we've been leaving on the table by not tapping in, going to go see what this OPM thing is all about by using other people's money. So I'm really, really, really excited for this. I'm so happy to scream this from the top of the mountain. And anybody who wants to come on board and learn how to make money with us, tell them it's all good. We're not trying to keep it. It's $1 trillion industry. Just like, look, Serena sound like the damn Forex introduction.
Okay, so I'm good though. You didn't know about Forex?
But fortunately, they're both recession proof. Like, you know what I'm saying? And some of us, Serena, myself, Leon, I know he's messing around. I know some of the other people that are on the team, they mess around in their crypto and stuff too. So it's like once you embody the whole title as an investor, it's amazing. So let's see who we got. There goes Gerard. Hey, Gerard. How you doing, Gerard? All right. All right. So yeah. So the goal. When you guys are doing these trainings, always keep at the forefront of your mind, master being a team player. This is not an individual sport. Don't get to making the money and think you can go run off and go recreate it. Because the one thing, even though we're telling you everything, what you can't recreate and do is relationships, your character, the way you do business. You can't recreate the relationships and the things like that you've built with Qiwi. So please, please, please master teamwork. We are the most open and honest / transparent group you'll ever find. Okay. So you can talk to us about anything, any problem, whatever. Just say something because we're in partnership. You do not work for us. All right. Quan, how you feeling? You ready?
I'm good to go. How y'all doing?
All right, guys. So I'm going to pass it on over to Quan, and he's going to give you guys the drills.
Start my video really quick. I got the blue room. Barely see me. What's up, though? All right, everybody. I'm going to share my screen real quick so we can see what's going on. So I'm glad that Kiana was able to do an introduction. Let me close these windows really quick.
You got the blue light special going on over there. You in a sexy meeting room.
Yeah, you know, you already know. You know, just the blue light is a light of energy, so I always have blue lights around me.
Right.
Super important. Kind of keeps me calm.
Absolutely.
So as Kiana was talking a little bit, I want to definitely share. Me and Kiana have been knowing each other. We've actually been really, really good friends. She is my bestie. We've been knowing each other probably about 8-9 years now, somewhere around there. And we never did business together. I know she was in mortgages, and you know, I was doing stuff for attorneys and doing consulting work, and you know, buying businesses and stuff like that. And so when I decided to get back into real estate, I ended up working for a company, of course, that a South Korean company that really helped me understand the market. You know, how to buy houses. I was brought on as an acquisitions manager. Now, I have an extensive background in real estate. Started 2002. I went from cutting hair in a barbershop, making about $800 a month. Actually, it's about $800 every 2 weeks, about $1,600 a month. Living in Atlanta, you know, price of living is pretty low, so it wasn't that bad. But at the same time, it's hard to live off $1,600 a month, you know, even if you're cutting hair. So I ended up reading a book. I flipped my first house reading a book, 2002. In Atlanta. The first year, I started a partnership with 3 of my other friends that were from Laos. There were 3 brothers from Laos. Started a company in Atlanta called Elephant Properties. All right. And our whole goal, we didn't do any wholesale. We bought houses, renovated the homes, and then we sold them or we refinanced them and we held on to them. In our first year, I think we probably did about 62 houses. Second year, we was tracking about 300. So we grew to be a pretty strong company. My only job was to find houses for our team. That was my only job, all right? So I'd go out, I'd look at houses on MLS. I'd go personally look at houses myself. I had to do all my own comps. And then I turn it over to my partners so that they can tell me exactly what we could pay for it. Now, the thing about real estate, and the thing that's very, very different, and I'm kind of giving you guys an introduction. So because this meeting is recorded, I want everybody to understand just how valuable it is. I think my second year, third year, I was probably tracking, flipping personally about 3 houses a month, all the way up until 2009 when the market just went crazy, right? I said all that to say it took me from a place where I didn't need a college education. Didn't matter what my background was, my color, anything like that. Whether I had, been to jail or not been to jail, or, whether you have a college degree or you're an agent. The limitation for a lot of real estate agents, I'll be honest, is that they're not creative enough. And a lot of real estate agents are, you may work for a fee. It's not a knock on you. There's a way to make that work for you too. But if you're working for a fee, you tend to be self-employed. And so there's not really a great business model if you're trying to be a part of a team, have a will, have a model where everybody eats with a team effort. And so that's really what business is about. For me, what I will share is, like I said, I've been on Kiana for years, and we started doing business. I believe it was at the beginning of the year when I decided to break out from South Korean company, and we just blitzed and we, incorporated probably about 6 different companies. Kiana being one of them. And after a while, I think at one time we probably had about 20, 30 people that we've trained to do this, right? This is not a get rich quick type of thing. So you do have to put in some work. Now, if you do it for 12 months and you don't see a dime, it's probably not the right group you're with, right? No offense to anyone. If you're doing it for 6 months and you haven't seen anything, then it's probably not the right group for you, right? What I'm going to show you today is very, very simple. We are acquisition buyers. So what that means is this. You have a wholesaler and you have a buyer. With the wholesaler finds a house and then he has to find a buyer for it 9 times out of 10. He really doesn't know who his buyer is, right? Now, we fall into that situation sometimes ourselves. However, 9 times out of 10, we know what the parameters are. We know that we have 3 solid buyers or 5 solid buyers that buy multiple homes or groups that we could sell to, that we use their money. They put up the earnest money. We negotiate the deal. We use our own proof of funds in order for us to get these deals under contract. All our contracts are assignable. So these are deals where we're getting off the MLS. They're listed. You don't have to determine whether someone wants to sell their home. No offense to, I would say, let's say a wholesaler that does wholesaling with off listings where it's not listed on the MLS, right? So if you're a wholesaler and you're doing things that's not listed on the MLS, which is understandable, the turnaround time is so strong. It takes a long time in order for you to have a realistic turnaround time. You're talking 60 days, 90 days. Now, when you're dealing with MLS, the multiple listing service, it says you have nothing but real estate agents, and it's a general database of agents that sharing their information, and they're pretty much cross-referencing, buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. So if you want to find out if someone wants to sell their house, go to Zillow, right? You want to find out if someone wants to, if they're motivated, anything like that, go to Redfin. It'll tell you. But again, when you're dealing with real estate agents, you're dealing with real legal contracts. We're dealing with real title companies. The difference with us is an acquisitionist group as opposed to a wholesaler. A wholesaler will sell the property and hope it closes. Very different. We handle the deal from the very beginning to the end. So even when we sell it to our investors, we don't just give it to them and just let them take over. We have a full team that does our transaction management, that makes sure the deals are taken through on the back end. We deal with the attorneys, the title companies, the real estate agents. I personally hop on the phone a lot of times to do price drops. So I'm sharing all these things with you because it's very important that you know that this is not your normal type of, hey, do you want to learn real estate training? This training is more so teaching you and anyone else what I've learned just from my experience and what Kiana's learned, but also how not necessarily easy it is, but we're in a technology age where this is the first time I touch a computer probably in a week or two. Normally I don't touch a computer until I actually have to do a training. We work from our phones. So everything you're going to see here is from our phones, okay? This training is for you to understand the type of homes that we buy, all right? Kiana, if you're hearing me, if you can send me an email, send me that list if you can find it that has just our criteria so I can pull that up. Okay. So our criteria says that we need to be at a certain percentage when we actually bid for a home in order to get it at a price so that we could sell it at a price without touching it. This is straight wholesale. Now, again, the difference with an acquisition management company is that we're handling the deal from beginning to end. It's not a drop off. We don't find a buyer and just back up and hope it closes. We're dealing with everyone all the way down the pipeline. This is the very beginning of how you deal with us or how you work with us. Everyone is an independent contractor, like Kiana said. We don't do employees, right? If you want to be employed, there's plenty of jobs that are hiring. I think I saw in the news that they're closing places down because they don't have employees. Not a knock if you need to work and, you know, that stability is something you have to have right now. You could do this part-time. This is set up to where you can take 2 hours out of your day religiously, 5 to 6 days a week, and find houses and send them to us because you know exactly what we look for. All right. So the first thing you want to know is that we want to be at a 70%, 72% of ARV. Okay. That means after repair value. So first you want to pull up Zillow. This is probably the easiest way to find a home. Pull up Zillow. I always like to pull up Los Angeles County. Okay. So pull up Los Angeles County, and it should give me a map of all the homes that are for sale in Los Angeles County. So let me increase this so we can see it pretty good. All right, so now you see all these red dots. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the dots. Now, I have my criteria set. So this is what I'm going to do for this training. Super important. I'm going to show you how to set your criteria to work with us. Los Angeles County is the first thing you want to put. Okay? Riverside County, San Bernardino County. Remember, it doesn't matter how much the house costs. What makes the most difference is how much we're getting it for. We have to get it at 74, 73, 72% of what that house is going to be worth after our investor buys it and renovates it. Okay? So we pull up Los Angeles County. First thing you're going to do is go up to the top and let's set our criteria. So we only want to see homes for sale. We don't want to put up homes for rent, sold homes, anything like that. Okay. So homes for sale is checked. I'm done. Go to the price. I don't want it to give me all the prices. So you see all these homes right here. It's giving me too many. So I want to set my perimeter. Now I'm going to show you how to look in the area where we buy the most. But this, kind of works for every area. So in this area that I want to look in, I really only want to look at homes, let's say from 800,000 to about 2.5 million. All right. So you set your parameter for that. Now, this is one that you can actually use and you can save these parameters. If you do, let's say Riverside County, you might start at 300,000. I start at 800,000, go up to 2.5. Even though we don't want to pay more than 2.5 for a house, we can negotiate down. We've got the house for 1.8 million that was listed for 2.5 before. So it is very possible. Next thing you want to do is go to beds and baths. So you see here is any, make sure it's checked on any. All right. Home type. Now, we don't want to look at townhouses, multifamily. We only do vacant homes. So let's just really be clear from the very beginning. The home has to be vacant. We don't want to buy a home. We don't want to hold a home. If you send us a home and you say, hey, it's not going to be vacant upon us, closing on the house, that's not a house we want to buy. So we're going to tell you no right off the bat. All right. If it has a tenant, we don't want it. Our buyers want to buy it, fully renovate it, either refinance it, turn it into an Airbnb, or put it back on the market and sell it. That's like our main buyers and what their criteria is there. Multifamily, I really don't want to look at as well, but you can keep that clicked if you want. For this training purposes, I'm not going to look at that. So we're going to clear all, deselect all, and we're just going to do houses. So just have the houses clicked. Next, we're going to go to more. So if you don't set these perimeters, you're going to get all kind of, different houses, and it's going to confuse you, okay? So this part is very important. When you go down and it says more, it's going to tell you the days on Zillow here. So you want to, this is very important. This is what you want to change. If I want to find out what just came on the market today, in the last 24 hours, it's going to tell me, and it's going to give me that criteria. So you see it has houses here, a house here, house here. These are all the homes that just came on the market in the area that we like to buy in. So let's go back to criteria for a quick second here. Let's see. So with the criteria, there's an email list that we have that Kiana, I'm sure, sent out to everyone. And it pretty much lets you know, houses that are not desirable for us. Homes that are next to an alley. Homes that are sitting on a main street with, 2 lanes on each side. Homes that, at the end of the day, are not desirable because they're right next to a business. It could be a lot of different things. So you got to ask yourself, would you pay $1.5 million for this house sitting right next to a liquor store? That's kind of how you got to think of it. If it was your money, would you pay for it? Okay. So what we see here, we set the perimeters already. Now I'm going to go and let's see, I'm going to increase this so we can see it. I'm just going to click on one. I like Studio City. So here's the thing. Our criteria really is from, if you see this circle here in the middle, Los Angeles has a 10 running around it, connects to the 5, connects to the 110, right? What we want to do and where we like to buy, especially if we're in the LA region, we'll buy all the way from, actually we'll go all the way to San Bernardino and down to San Diego. But for this purpose, let's say you're just looking up my criteria that I'm telling you we buy a lot of homes in. Los Angeles, circle is here. Just, if you do a C, if you just do like a letter C and you just draw, or a half moon, right? These are all the areas that we want to buy in. We want to go down as far as Carson, San Diego, but we really don't want to go into Downey and Whittier, right? We'll do West Covina, still in, that area. But our hot spots for multi-million-dollar homes, which is the market that we like, is, 9 times out of 10, they're in the city of Los Angeles. So let's just go now to Culver City. So I like Culver City. This one's sitting next to a freeway. Probably pass on it, right? So one of the first things you want to do, based on that criteria, we're going to look at it. This home, first thing you want to look at is the pictures. Don't waste your time looking at a house that's already renovated. It looks like it's retail. You can tell this home has already been renovated. It has can lights. You can see the pictures. Everything is new. Floors are new. Walls are white. Stainless steel. That's how you can tell if it's a very brand new renovation. Okay. So now I'm going to go back. So that's not when we look. Now on your phone, it has next to this, it'll say list. So if I just want to see the list instead of looking at this map right here, then I could pick on list, right? I could also do satellite if I want to do that, but I always just keep it, just like this. So let's look at another house right here. So this one is 800,000. Might be a deal. First thing you want to look at is a picture. Oh, that's an ugly picture. The first picture you see is a gate with untrimmed. They don't want you to see the house. That's what's going on here. And it only has one picture, right? Now, so let's click on this. It might be a deal. 2211 West 31st Street. So we're going to look at the square footage. Very important. Don't ever worry about the beds and baths. If you flipped houses like I flip houses, you can move walls around. I could take a 2-1 and turn it into a 3-2 with no problem, with the same space. The thing you really want to look at is the square footage of the house, right? Now, you also want to make sure you look at some of the notes sometimes. We don't like to do auction houses. Don't give us a house that we have to bid for on an auction because that's not our business, all right? With acquisitions managers, we're buying on behalf of companies we know buy from us. That's really what it is. So as I'm thinking about the companies that buy from us, they don't want certain things, right? They don't want a house that has a tenant, have to evict. They don't want a house that sitting on a corner on a main highway. So these are all things you got to really think about. So we look at this first house. First thing we see is an ugly picture. Good. We might be in the running. Second thing you want to look at is the Zestimate. Always look at the Zestimate just to see. If you're scrolling through, you see, okay, 800, 824. Zillow sucks at doing the estimates, but I'm going to show you how to determine that too. But again, I'm just showing you right now how to find a house, to sell to us. Okay. So this house has been on the market for 1 day. Time on Zillow. That's what we want. Just came out. I'll go down and it's going to give me a range of what the houses in the neighborhood should be worth, same square footage. I'm looking for the biggest number. So they're asking 800. This says 931. Right? We're moving in the right direction. Another trick is you can, even if you're on your phone, you can just swipe your finger across this little graph right here, and it'll tell you the value of this home over the years and how it's going up. This is the real estate market and how it works. All right. It continues to go up when a lot of markets are super up and down or volatile. So going back to this. So if I look at this graph and I look at the highest peak, it says this home 938. Perfect. All right. So we're still in good shape. I want to click on Seymour's estimate models. Seymour's estimate models, it says Zestimate uses a set of data where it's really taking other homes that have sold. These are not homes that are for sale. These are homes that have sold. So remember, you want to look at, this is roughly 1,600 square feet. Just round it up. If we can get another 500 square feet by turning the garage into an ADU additional unit, it bumps up the house. But we never do ARVs, and never send us a house that doesn't have the value based on the existing square footage that's permitted. Super important, right? If you send us a house and say, hey, they want 1.2 for this house. Right now it's only worth 1.3, but if you change and you turn the garage into another unit, it could be worth 1.7. That doesn't work for us. We need to have the exact square footage in that home, and it needs to kind of match. So I'm gonna round it up, 1,600. 800,000, 1,600, 885. What I'm looking for here is the highest price in the square footage. The highest price in the square footage. So now it just jumped me up from 930, because remember here when we looked at it, it was 931, right? Now it continues to go up. Next house I see says it looks the same. It's kind of a bungalow style house. That's another important thing. When you're doing these comps, if it's a 2-level, don't give me that as a comp. Or if it's a new house, that's not a comp when we're renovating a 50, 75-year-old house, right? So you got to compare apples to apples. This house looks like it may look like this, even though I can't see it, which is funny. So now I'm going to look and I'm going to see, okay, 1 million, 1,500 square feet, 1 million. I don't know how close this thing is to our house, but this is just a place that you start to see if you need to move forward. The thing I'm looking for, and the thing that's very important, when you are a locator, and you guys are really training to be a locator, what that means is that you hunt, but we also want to train you to be acquisitions managers. We want to train you to be able to call the real estate agent. Hey, I got a client. Hey, my partner wants to buy this home. And you know exactly what we will pay for it, and you negotiate the deal. That's how I started out, training Kiana with this. That's how Serena's getting trained. That's how I've been able to help Leon. So our team is really strong in that you have to be able to really get on the phone with the agent too eventually. This is just the first step of you learning how to find a house, sending it to us, and letting us do the work you don't know how to do. However, if you're a little bit more advanced here, you're a real estate agent. There's nothing wrong with you calling an agent. If you're not a real estate agent, but you understand a little bit of lingo, right? Call the agent. Hey, I got a client right now. Okay, this house is 800,000. That's what they want. Now, I know that it's probably worth 1 mil just based on what I'm seeing here. Okay, let's keep going. I see 1.1. It went up again. 1.125 went up again. That's about the same. 1,500 square feet. So you're looking at price square feet, price square feet, price square feet. Now, another indication that this is not a good deal. If you go down here and you see the comparable homes, all say for sale, it's probably not a good deal. They give you normally about 10 of these, right? Out of the 10, we at least want to see 7, 6, 7, 8 that have sold. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 pending, 5, 1 for sale, 6, 7. So we got 7 homes that have sold in this area. So in my mind, I see 1,500 square feet at the bottom here. 1.1 million. They only want 800,000, right? So now I need to move forward. This is how you really dig and know before you send it to us. The thing we don't want you to do is just send us a bunch of deals because, no offense, but that's how we stop answering your texts. If you send us a bunch of stuff that really doesn't work, it means that you're not, fully engaged in our process, or you're trying to take a shortcut and make a deal work that doesn't. Try to find reasons for us not to buy this house. So the first thing I see, this house might be worth 1.1 million. The house is 800,000. That's a $300,000 difference. Remember the number I said I need to be at, right? That number. So what I'm going to do is say, let's just say 1.1 million. 1.1 is when I'm evaluate the house just off the top right now. Times 0.7. 0.7 says that I can buy this house at 770,000. I don't care what the renovations are. I never want you guys to worry about rehab costs. I cringe when I get messages. Oh, what's the rehab looking like? What's the details? That's not our job. We're not contractors, project managers. Every investor has to do their own due diligence. Our job is to find a deal, negotiate the deal, lock it in, and then push it through the process so that we can actually make money on a wholesale deal and move to the next one. It's about value. So if I look at 70% of 1.1 million, which is what I think this house may be worth, it's going to give you a couple numbers. It give you a number here, 913. Don't pay attention to this, even though you should, but don't pay attention as far as your value. How did I get a value of 1.1 when it said 913? When up here at the very top, an investor that does not know, or a locator that doesn't know how to find a deal on a regular website like Zillow, is because you haven't been trained. So it's not a knock on anyone, right? Most people that are looking for these type of deals, they see 800, 824, move on, right? They don't look at the picture, but they just looking at this and this. Sales price is estimate. Oh man, it ain't worth nothing. That's not true. Now I go down, I just showed you, there's a range here again. Boom. There's a map here again, all the way up to 938. There's another number here. Go down, you look at the homes that have sold, 1,600 square feet, looks renovated, right? 1 million, 1.14, 1.125, 1.178. So in my mind, this house is probably worth 1.15, realistically, okay? So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to copy this address because I want to dig a little bit deeper. And this is what we want you to do. We want you to send deals to us, are deals, not things that you think may be, all right? That's what this training is really all about. So we're going to go to Redfin. You're not familiar with Redfin? Download it onto your phone. Super important. Redfin.com. Redfin, you use it for different reasons. I don't search to find houses on Redfin. I search to find houses on Zillow because it's a lot easier. All right, that's our formula. I look at Redfin because I don't have access from my phone, and neither do most of us, to the actual MLS to see comps, to see exactly how much is the house worth. So Redfin is going to tell you street by street what the home sold for. So this is when you're digging deeper. I'm going to copy and paste that address here. Right? Boom, we got the same house. One of the things you always want to do when you're looking at this, Zillow says, let's go back to this house real quick. Is it that one? No. So Zillow said the house is worth one amount, right? But it also says the square footage. Always pay attention. If you see in Zillow, this home has a different square footage, that's a problem. That means 9 times out of 10, we have unpermitted space. They turned the bedroom into they turned the garage into a bedroom. They turned the garage into a full apartment, but they never got permits, right? So those are things you want to pay attention to. Real estate agents, they will put 1596, but then they'll say, oh, only 1100 is permitted. Well, then they shouldn't have put that, right? They should have put 1100. So if I look here, it says 1596. Again, I'm going a little bit more in detail because this is super important. And then I go over here for the same house. Right? That ain't it. That says Colorado. Hold on a second. Los Angeles. Okay, so I'm not going to get caught up on that. So mainly, the main thing that you want to do is make sure the square footage match. If you see Zillow says that the square footage is 1, and then you go over to Redfin and it says something different, then you know we have a problem. Again, you're looking for reasons not to buy, which sounds crazy, but that's how you know you have a deal. As I'm looking at this house, I'm looking for reasons why it's not going to work for us. And when I run out of reasons why it's not going to work, it's a deal. So far, we're looking good because the numbers are right, okay? So if this house is worth 1.1, I know that I can buy it at $770,000. Now, as a rule of thumb, because we wholesale it and it's listed, I can't put the house back out for $825 when it's listed for $800, right? That makes sense even in this market. So as a wholesaler, I would probably go lower. As a acquisitions manager, I may give them $770, but then we drop price after inspection. I have to have a conversation that, is very uncomfortable with the real estate agent that, hey, I know we're going to buy it or due diligence, but in order for it to work, I'm going to need $50,000 off of the house. And I'll remove all contingencies. Now, again, we're speaking for our buyers. So that's the name of the game, right? So initially, the only thing you're looking at is both properties, the same property in both formats, okay? Once we go down to Redfin, it gets a little bit different. Redfin is going to tell you a little bit better as far as the homes that have sold in the area, all right? On your phone, and I don't really like to use a computer, but here we go. On your phone, you can scroll down. You want to see where it says nearby homes that have recently been sold. Please don't send me homes or send us homes that are listed, that are on the market. A house is only worth what someone else has paid for that similar house. A car is only worth what someone has paid for that similar car. It's super simple, right? So value is based on the amount someone to pay for it. So if you look at this, now it's saying, remember in Zillow, it said the max was like 1.1 from what I'm seeing. Now it's saying nearby homes go up to 325. Good indication. 1644 square feet. The first one we see here, right? I don't know if it's apples to apples, so I might want to look at it really quick. If I look at it, and I'm trying to get the front picture of it, right? If it's that same style bungalow house, 1 story, it might be a good comp for us. And then I want to look at how, now see, you can tell this house has been renovated. When you see hanging lights, can lights, everything white, stainless steel, not shiny floors, but kind of dull. This is a new millennial renovation. Trust me. Anybody doing renovations 2020 and moving forward, these are the renovations that they do. In LA, these are the renovations they do. So these are high-end $1 million renovations that we're looking at here. Okay. Keep going. Stainless steel sink, granite countertops. But if you notice, everything just looks white. It looks clean. That's how you can really tell if this house has been renovated. So it's a pretty good comp. The problem is that I don't see let's see. Okay, so look at the front of the house. Same style looking house. So now all of a sudden I went from thinking this house that is being on the market or being listed on the market for $800,000. Now I'm looking at a comp that says there's only a 50 square foot difference between 1596 and that house we just looked at that sold for 1.325. It's only a 50 square foot difference, right? You see they got 3 beds, 2 baths. They probably added, moved walls, etc. Now, I want to look at the next one though, right? Normally they have a map. So here's a map. On your phone, the map is there. So this is super important. Now, the first thing I see here is that this 1.35 is showing that this is A. If you look here, so A, and then if you look down on the map, I'll pull this map up. A is across Jefferson. So let's take a look at this. When you're doing these comps, these are the streets. Jefferson is a main street. In LA or a lot of places, when you cross a main street, you're in a different tax bracket. You may be in a different subdivision. And so our home is here, right? In order to get to this comp, we have to cross a main street. We have to cross two, Arlington and Jefferson. This is not a good comp. So that 1.3 is not a good comp. Now, a good comp will be D, because D is within the same parcel, not crossing any main streets, right? So now we want to look at D and see, okay, how much does this sell for? So now we look at D. D is fully renovated. Now, the good thing that we see here, D is sold for 1.1 June 9th, right? As you can see, it's renovated. So they probably bought it for lower, and they, now they want to sell it for a lot higher, of course. Look at the square footage, though. The square footage is only 1248 at 1.1 is what it sold. This home last sold for 1.1 June 9th. This is a good comp. We don't want to go back more than about a year. 6 months is better. 3 months is awesome, right? So we're still within like 6 months of this. And it's 1248 this house sold. So it's less square footage than ours. Now, what I want you to do, though, Redfin estimate says this house is worth 1.1, of course, because that's pretty much what it sold for. It's saying 900 a square foot, 923. Price per square footage determines the cost of a house or what a house is worth. So we're going to be conservative. You have Redfin estimate. Remember, if I think this house is worth 1.1 million, but I got a comp for 1.178 or, any other number, we always want to round up or round down. Try not to do all those, extra numbers. It's either even 25, 50, 75 or up. You'll notice when we do our offers, I normally do it like that. So going back up here, let's see, hold on 1 second. Let's go back to that original house that they were showing. Okay. So we got another one that sold for 1360 square feet, 1.17, same style house, right? So the things we want to look at is which one of these is closest to our home. We go back to the map. Map drops down on the bottom. It does the same thing on your phone. Again, D is not a good comp, right? Based on what we're seeing here. But again, we're comping the wrong house. Hold on 1 second. Let's go back to this one. Okay. So this is our house. So we're going to go back and comp this. So now that I see this is less square footage, 1248, sold for 1.1. That's about $900 a square foot. It says 923, but we're going to round it down. $900 a square foot. So what I have to do in order to determine if the house that we're looking at that they want $800,000 for, I have to determine how much it's worth based on that square footage. So at $900 a square foot times 1,596 square feet, that's a valuation of 1.4. So now we know that this is a deal, right? I'm not sure if we even have this yet, but we know that the house that's close to it sold for that amount. Go back here. Let's go back to this map really quick. Okay, here we go. So we go back to the map. The map is really what you want to look at to see if your comp is good. D is a good comp because it's right here. If you notice, D is here. B is here. Now, B looks like it needs help. Looks like it hasn't been renovated. Not too awesome of a house, but I'm not going to let that bother us. I'm looking at the higher price that have been fully renovated in the last 12 to 24 months. D and B. I can go over to Arlington. It's not as bad, right? What else sold over here? C. C is 716 and 1560, but it's across this street. So again, we're in a better situation because that house is on the other side of the street, which again, the value's over here, E 840, right? But the square footage is high. C is, go to C, C is 716. You go to F, F is 650. But you always want to look at the square foot. If you look at the square footage of the home, and if it's a newly renovated home, but it has less square feet, try not to go over. Go under, but even if you go over, just do price per square foot and be a little conservative. 923 is what they said price per square foot that home sold for. I did it based on 900. Sometimes I'll do it based on 875, just to give ourselves a little bit of room. So again, if you don't understand what I did, I'm looking at this house, newly renovated, it's sold already. This is a comp. It's close to our house. Same style house, kind of looks the same, right? And again, I'm going down to make sure that we're still in the same area. So I'm going to pull this back up. Let's see, get my email. So how you want to send these deals to us are like this. All right, I'm going to make it bigger. All right, I'm gonna leave the last 5-10 minutes for questions. So I'm gonna wrap it up after this one. All right. So what we're gonna do? So let's say you want to send a deal to us, and most of you guys know this, but again, being conservative and looking at everything that we already looked at, let's just say this is a text message. So I'm gonna use my email, but I don't want you sending me emails. I really need it to be a text. Okay. So you're gonna put the address there. Boom. Next, you're going to put listed. I want to know what it's listed for, okay? You don't have to worry about putting square footage, comps, all those other things. It's not important right now, okay? Only thing you're going to text us, if you're a locator, is the address, listed. I want to know what it's listed for, 800,000. ARV, so based on what we're doing now, in our last training, you should know what the ARV is. ARV, based on what I'm seeing here, when I did the price per square footage, it said 1.4. That's very, very, that's kind of hot. So just to be conservative, I'm going to say 1.25. All right. Based on that square footage. And then I'll just put a plus. So this is how you want to send it to me. You know, it might be up to 3. Sometimes you could put a dash. 1.25 M, and use M's, use capital letters. Don't put 800,000 with all the zeros and stuff. Please don't do that, right? Just send it to us just like this. 1.35 M plus, right? Then once you know what the ARV is, it should be easier for you to tell me what to offer. So an offer is this. An offer is always the ARV. So in this case, we're going to use 1.25 M. Okay. ARV times, or ARV, 70% of the ARV, right? But if you're doing it on your phone, your calculator, you're going to do ARV. So you're going to do 1.25 0, 0, 0, all the zeros, right? Times 0.7. Start there. And then go 0.2 and see what those numbers are. So what I'm going to do is put 0.7. That is 70%. 0.7 is 70%. Just so you know, if you don't. All right. So that equals out to be a certain dollar amount that I could pay for the house. Because I know as a group, we can sell the homes. Qiwi, we normally sell homes at like 75, 76, 77% ARV to our investors. So I'm going to show you how the spread looks in a quick second here. 1.25 million times 70%. That's $875,000. Now remember, they only have it listed for $800,000. There's no way I'm gonna send them an offer for $875 if they're only asking for $800, right? And in order for my investors to buy it, they're not gonna pay over what it's listed for. So now that I know that I can pay all the way up to $875 based on my value and a lower side value, what I'm gonna do is now I have to look at the listed price. So do we want to try to, since this is a pretty close deal, we probably want to try to make like 30 grand on it, 40 grand, not do too much, 25,000. So so we can open up the door of communication, I'm going to say the offer on this one, I'm going to start, Kiana will tell you, our group will tell you, sometimes we're pretty aggressive. I'm going to start at 725 and just have them call. Leon, call this one. All right. So Leon's going to call and he's going to talk to the agent and find out if 725 is realistic. We only $75,000 off. They might come back, say, okay, you got to see the house. So Leon goes, sees the house. Once he sees the house, okay, we want to put in that offer. He gets a feel for, and we get a feel for the agent on the phone when we first contact her. Before we even see the house, what do you think 725 would get? Can we go into escrow for that? She'll tell you right off the bat, oh no, that's not going to work. You know, we have listings all the way up to 800, 825. Okay, well, how many written offers do you have? Hit them with that. When you're talking to the agent, hit them with that. How many offers do you have? Forget like how many written offers do you have? Because they're going to cap on the phone. So when you're talking to the agent, I have a client, he wants to offer, or my partner wants to offer $725,000. I know it's lower than, you know, what you're willing to take. However, do you think that's close enough to get us to escrow? Agent's going to tell you the number, right? So let's just say we get it under contract, and we get it under contract. They come back. We settle out at $740,000. All right. So now we have 740 that we have it under contract for, and we have an assignment agreement. Okay. Now remember, 740 is way lower than that 70% of my ARV. Even if I sell to my investors and say, hey, this house is worth 1.25 million. However, I'll give it to you way less than what 70% is. So I'm going to give it to them at, we get under contract, let's say for 740, we put 40,000 on it. They're still getting a discount because it's listed for 800,000. As long as they don't see they're getting it for 8, it's listed for 8. Our investors don't want to see that. But if they see the ARV is there, if they see the comps are there, if they see the numbers are there, the same style house is there, they're going to want to buy it. So this is a situation where if we get this house, let's say for 740, because we finally negotiated or came on that number, right? We'll turn around and we'll sell it for 780,000, right? Or just to make it clean, you know, I like round numbers. So 775, let's do that, right? So if we sell it for 775, we just made a profit of 30 grand, right? 35 grand. So that's pretty much how the wholesale works. That's how our job works. The whole thing is for us to find the homes. Once we find the homes, put them on the contract, negotiate the deal, call the agent, see the house, set up the closings. I mean, send in earnest money. There's so many levels to what we do. This is the stage where you help us and you assist us. You work for yourself. You're an independent contractor. If you want your own company, your own LLC, we do that too for you. We'll set it up. You know, just making sure you have a legit company with an EIN number, right? It's not free. So, you know, let's be clear. However, if you don't want to do that, you're independent still. You're, you know, tapped in with a team like us. You send me this text message. Now, when you send me this text message, normally I want it to look like this. Offer 725. Give me your recommendation. And then just put question mark. What I'm going to do in return, and you guys have seen this already, I'm just going to copy it right off my phone. And then I'm going to go in another group chat with Leon and Kiana and Serena. And I'm going to pop it in there. And I'm going to say, okay, at Quan was the locator. That way, Quan is getting paid for finding this house. Kiana will talk to you about the fees and how much we pay. That's not my job, by the grace of God. All right. But Quan locator, and then I might put here Serena offer. You guys have seen this before. This is how we text back and forth. So our business is not, if you notice, if you try to call me on the phone and talk to me about anything, it's kind of hard to get me. Because I may be handling like 2 or 3 or 4 different text messages in business at a time. Trying to sell a house we just got. Trying to put another offer in on another one. Trying to do different things. So what we're doing here is we're showing you this is what we really, really need. This is the first thing we need. The next step that we need after you know what to offer. Let's say you send this to us. The only reason why you're sending this to me is because you don't know how to put the offer in. Right? That's Serena's job. That's what she does best, right? But how about, let's say the next training, Charlie, hint, hint. Next training we do where now Quan is a locator, but Quan is also the acquisitions manager. You become an acquisitions manager with us by handling the process. If you're not handling and speaking of the agents, if you don't understand that part or how to negotiate the deal, if you haven't gotten there yet, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to be a locator, right? Until you get to the next stage where you understand how not to be. And there's nothing wrong with either one. You might just want to be a locator. Just find houses a couple hours a day. Cool. You're going to make less money though, right? If you move to being an acquisitions manager, that means that Quan just found this house. Quan called the real estate agent. Quan did the comps on it. Quan got the ARV. He knows what he can offer. And then he's going to call and say, hey, can I give you $725,000 to get in this house? Now I just found the deal and negotiated the entire deal. That's an acquisitions manager. Now, it doesn't stop there, though, because you still have to take it through the whole deal, right? You got to earn your money when it comes to that. But that's the next phase for you all. So I'm going to kind of stop here and let you guys know that, for us, this is really where we need the most help. We don't really need you hitting us up saying, hey, what to offer. If you send this to me and you ask me what to offer, I need suggestions. You can't send anything to us right now because we got too much business. Don't send anything to us without an ARV. Everything has to look exactly like this when you send it to us. That's all we need. I don't need comps at the bottom because it's too much to look at. I don't want to see square footage because I can look that up on my own, right? I don't need any other information than the address, list price, ARV, right? You don't need to put this in here. So I'm going to take this out. I just put that in for example's sake, right? You're going to have 4 lines. That's it. 4 lines. That's it. And then as you go through, you send them to us. We'll send you updates. I'll send you a message back saying, hey, we got it. If we didn't get the house, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to send you a message back. Because in order for us to do what we do, we have to put in an average of 7 to 10 offers a day. All right. And I know even right now we're a little bit behind on that, but we're kind of catching up. The year's kind of taking off. So that's kind of where I am. I think kind of if you want to open it up for questions, anybody want to ask anything, we got.
Yeah. Hey guys. If you have any questions, go ahead. Feel free to unmute yourselves. I'm going to try to add the, I'm going to see if the Zoom will let me try to add the buying criteria in here. And then I'll leave the Zoom open for a few moments after we close so you guys can download it.
Okay. I think I have it right here.
No, I just did another one. Because that one was too busy.
For sure. So if there's no questions, we're good to go. We're right at a good time. I'll edit the video. That way everybody kind of getting, to make it clean. And we'll throw it back up. Anybody that, was not able to participate, just go back over the video. The biggest thing is just making sure that as you're doing this for us, again, this is not some Ponzi scheme, get rich quick scheme, starting with us 1 minute, ready to quit the next. You really want to give yourself 6 to 12 months, realistically. This is a new business. It's a new understanding. It's a new jargon. It's a new way to speak. And so if you're familiar with it, most real estate agents don't know how we do business. Most title companies don't know how we've had title companies or attorneys tell us that it's not legal, only for us to tell them it is, and then for us to get apologies back from them. Right? So we know what we're doing. It's just a matter of us, making sure that we have a solid team and we duplicate ourselves. All right.
All right, for sure, for sure. All right, guys, you guys don't have any questions. We appreciate your time and enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Let's get
Thank
it.
you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody as well. Thank you
Thank you,
guys.
everybody. Have a great
All the
night.
time.
Merry Christmas as well.
Make sure you guys download that document.
Got you.
Mama, you put the link in the chat?
Yeah, it's there.
I don't see it. When I click on it, nothing happens. Get that property right on now, contact listing agent. Did everybody else get it?
The chat in the Zoom is there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Hold on. I meant to tell you I like the other video as well. Which one are you gonna use?
Both.
Both? Yeah, they were both good.
Just kind of depending on what, you know.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna show you what my chat looks like.
Okay, let's see if it
I
pops
just
up in
sent
there
it to you.
now. You see it now? All right, I'll email it to you, Mom. I'm gonna catch this call, okay?
All right, Mama.
All right.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.